What is that? It's not turning off. There isn't even a time on it. This alarm is not even set for a time. It's weird. Why would I set an alarm without a time? It doesn't even make sense. It's a new month. A new cup. Wait, what? Is it? Oh my gosh, the new cup starting. The timeless cup. That's why there's no time. It was the timeless cup. Oh my god, I haven't prepared at all. Oh shit. Something like a bat. Well, what you love, call me when you can. Girl, going up. This just isn't helping. I'm too far behind to figure out what the meta is. I don't even understand timeless. There's a starter. You need a starter, but Skarmory's banned and Azumarill's banned. Umbreon from the last cup's banned. How am I going to figure this out? I got it. I'm going to talk to some experts, get their picks, then use their team, and hopefully it'll be good enough to wreck my opponents. But who can I ask? I got it. Alright, today for the Timeless Cup Pick'ems, we're going to be talking to 6 women that are part of the Girls That PvP hashtag, and they're going to be giving us their picks, and we're going to start off with the starters, and Shagness is going to give us the starter picks, so let's see what she's got.
Hey, Vergyverg, Shagness here. You wanted me to give you a choice between 3 different starters for the Timeless Cup, since you're only allowed to have 1 on your team. Well, I decided to have a little fun with my picks, so here they are. Blaziken with Counter, Blaze Kick, and Blast Burn. Swampert with Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. And in honor of Cochina Mom, because she didn't get to pick, we have to go with Sceptile with Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, and Earthquake. I hope you have fun with the rest of your picks and have a great day. See ya!
Alright, with our first pick in the Timeless Cup, we're going to go with Swampert, that Mudboy King. And he's going to be groundwater typing, he's going to have Mudshot for his fast attack, and Hydro Cannon, the Community Day move, as well as Earthquake for a late game finisher. So starting off things strong, let's see what the next pick has.
Hey Vergyverg, Lady in Red here. So my line of 3 for you to pick 1 from is Kingdra, Victory Bell, and Glalie. And the reason I chose this line is because I think that they can do pretty good over some of the more common Pokemon you may be going against. And so to start off with Kingdra, she has a favorable matchup against Dragonair, Blaziken, Charizard, and all shields, and can actually beat Haunter in the 1 shield. And then for Victory Bell, if you've already picked a starter and you're unable to use Venusaur, then Victory Bell is the second best grass type Pokemon for you to use. And with that, you have the Lapras matchup, Swampert, Mudboys, and can actually also beat Banette in the 1 shields. And then last but not least is Glalie. And with Glalie, you can also beat Dragonair in all shield scenarios, as well as Venomoth, Drapion, and Shelgon. So those are my 3, and whichever one you choose, I hope serves you well. Thanks a lot.
Alright, I agree. We don't have that grass-type Pokemon as our starter, so we're going to want to pick up a grass-type here, and I think Victory Bell is the clear choice. has Razor Leaf, and I think we're going to go with Acid Spray and maybe Sludge Bomb for the 2 other moves, just so that when you take out a water type with the hard hitting last resorts, with the hard hitting Razor Leafs, you're going to be able to throw that Acid Spray on the next Pokemon and really gain an advantage against 2 Pokemon. So, great choice. Let's see what the next pick is.
Hey there, Vergyverg. It's Lilu here. Alright, so for my 3 picks, my first pick is going to be Victory Bell. Razor Leaf is just no joke. It will rip right through those mud boys, and also poses a serious threat to Lapras and Kingdra. With Acid Spray, you also have the potential to get that attack drop. My second pick, I'm definitely going to go with one of my favorite Pokemon, and that's Lapras. Even though the meta is still forming, I'm going to go on a limb and say that I really don't see Lapras going anywhere. This Pokemon is so tanky, and it counters so many of the MVPs in Timeless. Charizard, Venusaur, Venomoth, and with the dragons that seem to be stealing the show early on, Lapras really proves its value with Ice Shard, and then really a plethora of charge moves to choose from. This Pokemon is probably a must-have for any team in this cup. Alrighty, my third pick is Dustox. I went with Dustox because it's a little bit off meta, another tanky Pokemon, and I love the amount of damage that Confusion does to the poison types that are running rampant in this cup. If you don't have access to a Legacy Venomoth, maybe consider Dustox. And with charge moves like Silver Wind and Sludge Bomb, I think this level 40 Pokemon might just surprise you. Thanks so much for having me, Vergy. I cannot wait to see which Pokemon you choose.
Yeah, so Lapras is definitely the mainstay of this cup. It's going to be really good against the dragon types with the Ice Shard as the fast attack. And it's going to have a really fast charge move in Surf, as well as a hard-hitting charge neutral damage move with the Skull Bash. So I think those are the things you're going to want to go for its moves. And I think Lapras is just going to be dominant in this cup. So we're going with Lapras as our third pick. Let's see what the next one holds.
Hey everyone, this is Rezachi, and here are some of my picks for the Timeless Cup. Now, first off is Celio. Now, what I like about Celio is that it's bulky, it's very spammy with Body Slam, and in some occasions it can actually take out a Lapras, or well, just go head to head against Lapras. Give it a hard time. Funny thing is, the best IV Celio isn't able to take out the trash Lapras, so yeah, go figure. Another thing is that I like its flexibility, so you can go Water Pulse if you want it to be able to hit Charizard better, harder, and maybe deal some neutral damage to a lot more Pokemon. Or you can make it one of your dedicated Dragon counters when you give it Aurora Beam. Then another would be Kingdra. Now, I like Kingdra because it hits nearly everything hard, like really hard. But I think the best thing about it is that it's not weak to Lapras. I mean, it doesn't take super effective damage from Ice Shard or even Surf. However, it's a bit on the soft side, so if you do decide to include Kingdra in your team, definitely have bulkier team needs with it. Also, it beats all the dragons, so that's definitely something to make it worth considering. And for the last Pokemon, it's a bit unconventional. I think I find Dustox really interesting. Now, it is by no means a budget Venomoth because you have to get it to level 40 and it has to be perfect IV. So, in the perfect world, you have a lucky Dustox. But what I like about it is that it's bulkier than Venomoth and it hits harder. Well, I mean, its moves hit harder. It has lower attack, definitely, but it has bigger damage moves. So it doesn't have the charm of Venomoth in the shield beating department, but if you want big damage and bulk, definitely go Dustox. Or, consider running Dustox. So again, that's Celio, Kingdra, and Dustox. So I hope these are worth considering for you, and enjoy.
Okay, Dustox. I think Dustox is a really good pick here. We're going to go with it because it has its fast move is going to be Confusion, which is going to be hard-hitting anti-grass, as well as anti-poison. and its charge moves are going to be Silver Wind and Sludge Wave. Maybe it's Sludge Bomb, I forget. And we're going to be going for those boosts, and Confusion, Anti-Grass. We're going to need an Anti-Grass. We haven't gotten one of those yet, so we're going with that. And what is the next pick?
Hi, it's okay, haha, aka Oklahoma, and I'm coming at you with my 3 Timeless Cup picks. My first one is definitely going to have to be Frostlass. I've been using it in my practice fights a lot, and I really, really like it. It gets to its charge moves stupid fast, and Avalanche and Shadow Ball are both devastating moves to most of the Pokemon in this meta. So you're either going to be getting shields or you're going to be getting Pokemon. It's up to your opponent to decide their fate. Also, with all these dragon types running around in Timeless Cup, it's a good idea to have some good strong ice users on your team, and Frostlass definitely serves that purpose. My second pick is going to be Muck. It's a pretty tanky Pokemon, and its charge moves that it can get are Thunder Punch, Dark Pulse, Sludge Wave, and Acid Spray. So it has a little bit of flexibility, and you can definitely do some shield baiting with it, and it's going to take care of those grass types for you, which is great. Almastar is my third pick. I love Almastar with all my heart, and it gets one of my favorite moves, Ancient Power, which has the potential for the boost. One of the greatest things about Almastar in this cup is that it does beat an Ice Shard, Skull Bash, Surf, Lapras. Lapras is on almost everyone's team right now, so it's a good idea to have a strong counter to it. You do need to watch out for Razor Leafers and grass types, but you can definitely do some damage if you get off an Ancient Power before you go out. So those are my 3 picks. I hope they help, and I hope people get wrecked by them.
Oh, so I've really been liking Muck. He is going to be anti-grass, but also with Thunder Punch as a charge move, it's going to be anti-water. I think the other move that we have on there is Crunch, I believe, and it's going to be neutral against most of the field, so that's always good to have a coverage move. But I really think that its Poison Jab and Thunder Punch are going to be a huge role for it to play in this cup against the water, ice, and grass.
Hi, I'm Kachino Mom, and my 3 picks are Melodic, Dragoneer, and Amistar. Amistar, with its Ancient Power, it gets the boost. It can one-shot all the Venomoths people are using, plus it's obviously super effective against the Laprases. Dragoneer, because it can take out all the Razor Leafers and the Fire types. And Melodic, because you get the coverage of the Dragon typings without having the weaknesses of it. So it's not weak to Ice and other things that are going to take out the Dragoneer so easily.
Ooh, and with the last pick in this Pick'ems, we are going to go with Dragonair. I didn't know if we were going to see it, but I think Dragonair is a huge part of this cup. It's going to be pure Dragon type. It's got Dragon Breath for the fast move, so super hard hitting. And it's got Aqua Tail, and if you have a purified one, you can go with Return. But I think that Wrap is really good, as well as Dragon Pulse, so that secondary move can be anything you want, but I think that first move is definitely going to have to be Aqua Tail. Also, you're going to want to, no matter what that second move is, you're probably going to want to have a purified Dragonair, just so that you can make your opponent think Return is on it no matter what. And if something else is on it, like Dragon Pulse, you're going to be able to trick them, get a hard hit in, and pretty much devastate their team. So this is the team that the girls that PvP have created. We have our starter of Swampert, and to go along with Swampert we have Victory Bell as our grass type, Dragonair as our dragon, Lapras as the ice and anti-dragon, anti-grass, Dustox, which is pure anti-grass against with that confusion, and then Muck, anti-grass, and a little bit anti-water with that Thunder Punch. So pretty diverse team here. You hit a lot of the Pokemon in this cup. I think that this is going to do really well. I'm glad that these are the choices that I was given. And let's go ahead and test it out in some battles, because that's the only way we're going to know if this team is good enough to wreck people. So let's go. Alright, so in this first game, this first set of 5, we're going to be going up against Brightside, and we didn't show teams, so we're going to start with Dragonair, with Swampert and Dustox in the back. So, Swampert is going to be double weak against Grass, so we're pairing it with Dragonair and Dustox in order to have 2 counters to Grass, just in case they bring a grass type here. So he starts off with Houndoom. So this is an interesting choice. Houndoom is dark and fire typing with, I believe, Snarl as a fast attack, and Foul Play, and maybe Flamethrower. I'm not too sure on that for the charge moves. So Snarl with the with its recent buff to energy gain, I'm sure that Houndoom has gotten a lot better, but I don't know too much about it. So yeah, Lapras comes in, takes our Dragonair out. We have taken both shields from him though, so we're at the shield advantage, and we don't want to bring in Dustox versus Lapras because we're going to have... oh wait, actually, I'm not sure that it's weak against Ice Shard. Dustox does have wings, but is not flying, so interesting to think about that. I actually thought about that with Venomoth and Beedrill as well. Don't be confused that they're flying type, so Electric's not going to do super effective damage against them. They're actually just bug and poison typing. So as soon as he brought in the Victory Bell, we threw out the I believe we threw out the Earthquake, which is able to one-shot Victory Bell because it's super effective against the poison typing of Victory Bell. So that is one really good thing going for Swampert, is that even in its bad matchups against Venusaur or the Razor Leafers, you're always going to have an out with that Earthquake. The one exception would be against Meganium, because Meganium actually doesn't have that poison subtyping. So we go ahead and take game 1, and we come in here game 2 with a similar line. Actually, we have a lot of grass counters, so we're going to start Swampert and have Dragonair and Muck in the back to go up against any of the grass types if they come in with grass type. So we start against Lapras. I'm not too familiar with this matchup, but he must be because he swaps out. And he comes into Victory Bell, and as soon as he goes into Victory Bell, we come with Muck. So Muck has Poison Jab as the fast attack, and that's going to be doing neutral damage against the Victory Bell. And then we're probably going to use Dark Pulse because it is neutral as well. Unless we're just trying to shield bait, and then we can throw out the Thunder Punches because those Thunder Punches will be resisted from the grass subtyping of Victory Bell. So he comes in here with Lapras, again with Lapras after the Victory Bell goes down. We're going to want to get these Thunder Punches off because they will be super effective. But we do not make it to a second one, but it's okay. We did take the shield. We're going to want to come back in with Swampert, and as soon as we throw out the Earthquake, he swaps into Sudowoodo. The thing is, though, the rock is going to be, the ground is going to be super effective against the rock typing of Sudowoodo. So Sudowoodo gets instantly hit there. I probably would have shielded if I was him, because even if I throw the Hydro Cannon, it's going to be doing so much damage. And I'm not 100% on how that matchup goes, but Hydro Cannon might take out Sudowoodo. I have to check on that. And here you're going to see the power of Dragonair, even into the bad matchup. Since we had the health advantage there, all we had to do was Dragon Breath it down. And he did have an extra shield, but it didn't matter because Dragon Breath does so much damage, we didn't want to even throw out the charge attack there. So here is the third game, and we start Victory Bell with 2 waters in the back, and he starts Raichu. Interesting enough, if you notice, this Raichu is doing Charm, so that is a real thing. That could be wary of what fast attack Raichu is using, because Raichu has so many different types of attacks, even with the charge moves. So we end up taking out the Razor Leaf is just going to be too much for the Raichu, and he comes in with Victory Bell, and we throw out an Acid Spray, and he didn't. We thought he would shield for sure because most of the time Victory Bell's running Leaf Blade and Sludge Bomb, but he must have thought that we were going for either the Acid Spray or the Leaf Blade. So he correctly predicts not to shield there. But we do bring in the Lapras that takes out the Victory Bell with the extra damage because of the defense drop on Acid Spray to the Victory Bell. And we're thinking this is probably an Earthquake. It's actually just a Muddy Water. So now that we know he's got Muddy Water, we know he doesn't have Earthquake in general. And I was noticing a bit of lag here, so I went off the Wi-Fi in the middle of that charge animation, since it's going to take a few seconds anyways. And yeah, we're just trying to get to this Surf. We still have our own Swampert in the back. We've definitely got this matchup. It's just going to take a little while since Surf's just doing neutral damage and the Swampert's doing reduced damage because of the not being very effective against Lapras. In fact, I think we would live through a Hydro Pump here. No, we don't. A Hydro Cannon, sorry. But yeah, our Swampert's full life in the back, so we get through that one. So we're doing a... I guess we're just doing 5 games. We're not doing a best of 5. We're doing 5 games, and so we're 3-0 at this point, and we come into the Victory Bell mirror, and he swaps out into Venomoth, and I swap into Swampert. I probably should have swapped into Lapras. I didn't think that through enough, and I don't know what I was doing here. I must have been distracted. I did not throw, or I did not get the Excellent on the minigame. And I'm not too familiar with this matchup either, Venomoth versus Swampert, so I decided to shield the Silverwind. I figure all I need to do is get off one Hydro Cannon and I'll be good because it'll do such massive damage. And actually, the Venomoth's HP is so low at this point, I think that one Hydro Cannon probably is enough. But I'm going to let Swampert go. We got both shields, and I can come back in with Lapras, which is the matchup I probably should have tried to go for in the beginning. And I shouldn't be shielding this. Yeah, it's either going to be Silverwind or Poison Fang, and Silverwind and Poison Fang, neither of them really do that much to Lapras. I think that was a waste of a shield there. He swaps into Sudowoodo, who takes reduced damage from normal attacks since he's Rock type. And we come in with our Victory Bell, but I'm pretty sure he's got Earthquake. No, Rock Slide. Wow, that does actually a ton of damage. We take out the Sudowoodo, but he's just got too much left here in the back for our Lapras to handle, especially with Victory Bell being one of the things left in the back. Even if we take out this this Venomoth, which we do, we're not going to be able to get to a Skull Bash. And I don't even think a Skull Bash takes out the Victory Bell at that HP, so... actually, it might, but yeah, we did not play that one well. I think we should have saved our shield from the Venomoth. I think you'll notice when using this team of 6 that I'm not very well practiced with it, even though I've had this team for about a week now. I don't know. Yeah, I just wasn't familiar enough with these matchups. I think that I could have won even more if I just familiarized myself with these matchups. So we come in with the Swampert mirror, actually, so interesting. And then we swap into Lapras against this Victory Bell, which is a horrific swap by me. And I guess I'm just going to try to take the shields at this point because that was just the worst mistake. And in order to make up for this mistake, I have to not go for the block here. It is an Acid Spray, so good, no shield, but these Razor Leafs are doing so much more damage because of that Acid Spray. And now I have to somehow figure out how to get Victory Bell into the Swampert matchup. But yeah, he has Venomoth in the back. We're not going to be able to get to it. I actually have 2 shields up here. I probably won't even get to use one because our Swampert is so low health anyways. So really mismanagement of shields, really bad swap in here. There was no chance we were winning this game. So when you're playing against people, you really need to know your team in and out, especially your team of 3, and what the weaknesses are to each of those Pokemon, because one bad swap or something like that, and you can just lose everything, right? So this is against someone in our Ranger lobby. This is going to be, I think, a best of 3, if I remember. And he starts out with Lapras. We start with Victory Bell. We're going to stay in this matchup. It's going to cost us a shield. And he comes in with the Charizard. So we're just going to throw the Acid Spray out here because our Victory Bell is going to go down pretty fast to this Charizard's Air Slashes, it looks like. And either of the next 2 coming in are pretty good against Charizard. So we could have brought in Dragonair or Lapras. I'm thinking now that I probably should have brought in Dragonair because those Dragon Breaths would have been doing so much damage. But the reason I didn't bring it in was because I was afraid it had enough for a Dragon Claw, and I didn't want to use the shield yet, especially since he has the shield advantage from that first matchup. So he ends up switching into Whiscash, and we immediately switch into Dragonair so that we can preserve the Lapras matchup for Charizard. But Dragonair is going to get taken out here by the Whiscash. Because of the shield advantage, he's used 1 shield on the Whiscash, and we used 0 on Dragonair. And that's because we wanted to come in with Lapras, farm up, and we don't want to use any shields on anything Whiscash does, because we are going to want to use the shield on whatever first move Charizard does, because he's only going to get 1 attack off. And we want to make sure, if it's a Blast Burn, that we end up shielding that on the Lapras. And so I think we have enough for 2 Surfs here, and I think we're going to go for the Self Piggyback, which we do get, and that's going to end up taking Charizard out. So the Acid Spray maybe didn't play that huge a role. I think that a Surf at that HP would have taken him out either way. But it is good. One of the best parts about Victory Bell is, taking out one of their Pokemon and then using an Acid Spray on the next one, so that 2 Pokemon get affected by one of yours. It gives you a tempo advantage. So this next matchup, he starts with Tentacruel. I definitely haven't seen any Tentacruel, so this is an interesting choice. And we swapped out into the Victory Bell, it looks like, and he swapped into Lapras, which is an interesting choice. But we were very slow on the swap out, that he was able to get to 2 Surfs, and we probably shouldn't have shielded that last one, but we did it anyways. And I throw out the Acid Spray here, and he didn't shield, so he's seen us throw Acid Spray twice, so I guess from his point of view we have Acid Spray and Leaf Blade, neither of which he wants to shield. So I'm going to remember that for the next game, I think, or any future games with this player, because in my mind, or I should say, I'm getting into his mind of thinking that we don't have Sludge Bomb, especially since we've only showed Acid Spray. But yeah, these are the things you're definitely going to want to keep in mind. If this Earthquake lands, it will one-shot the Tentacruel, but he still has 2 shields, so maybe we should have gone for the bait there and then get a second Hydro Cannon off, which would have at least done decent damage to the Tentacruel. But our Lapras was super low in the bag. It may not have mattered, but that is something we should be doing. I guess I went for just some late game heroic, hoping that he somehow wouldn't shield. So Muck against Victory Bell, this is a good matchup for Muck, and Skuntank I'm not too familiar with, so I come in with Lapras here, just because Lapras is a pretty good generalist. And we're going to just throw out as many Surfs as we can. So I thought about maybe bringing in Dustox, but Confusion's going to be doing neutral damage, because it's going to be super effective against the poison typing of Skuntank, but not very effective against the dark typing. But so I think about that here, and I decide I'm just going to come in and just fast attack it down. And we don't want to take this crunch, or we thought it was very possible that he had fire, the flamethrower, so we decided to shield that move just in case. It wasn't really going to cost us too much. We're already up on the energy advantage here. Yeah, sure, he does have the shield advantage. But, so we swap into Muck here. Both of these Pokemon are going to be good against the Victory Bell, so I decided to come in with Muck because Muck's going to be a little better against the Lapras. We do take the shield there, but in doing so, what has happened now is that, yeah, Muck is better against the Lapras, but since I've swapped out, obviously he's not going to be in that matchup anymore. And so what I'm just doing here is trying to hold on with Muck as long as possible so that I can get back to that Lapras matchup and throw. I'm going to need 2 Thunder Punches, but he has a Surf available here, and that actually doesn't take us out. We get to the Thunder Punch. We do get the Thunder Punch off, but I did make a mistake in this last match here with Dustox. We definitely should have gone with the Sludge Bomb. It does a lot more damage than Silverwind, plus Silverwind's resisted anyways, or maybe it's not, but we definitely would have won that game if we went Sludge Bomb. So yeah, really bad play there by me. We definitely should have won that series right there. yeah, just I guess I said it a lot already, but know your limits on each of the Pokemon that you're using. So, so this is going to be a best of 5 against Mootsie Two Shoes. He's in our lobby, our remote lobby for Texas PvP, and he's going to start out with Politoed. So in doing my last video, I know that Politoed can have Earthquake if you have the Legacy one. And he's doing a lot of mud shots here. In fact, like we're doing mud shots as well, and we noticed that we would have gotten to the Earthquake. So I decided to shield here just because he did the exact amount that you'd get to an Earthquake with, and then threw off a move. So we just predicted that he had the Legacy version. And all we need to do now is land a Hydro Pump, because a Hydro Cannon, because it's going to do about half of Politoed's health. Even though he resists it, he is a little more frail, and Hydro Cannon is such a strong move in general. So we both end up using all our shields. This is definitely going to be a Surf. We'll survive it, no problem. And we'll probably try to get 1 or 2 more fast attacks in, yeah, because we definitely want to have that Hydro Cannon for the next Pokemon that comes in. And we definitely have enough for one, yeah. So we throw in the Hydro Cannon here against this Beedrill. Beedrill, an interesting choice. It's going to be really good against the grass types, which are really prevalent right now. And we decide to bring in Lapras, I believe. Yeah. So he's super low anyways, and I don't think any of these attacks are going to be doing too much, but actually Sludge Bomb does a pretty significant amount, about 35%, so you can't take too many of those. I think 2 with all of the fast attacks in between to charge those will actually take out the Lapras. But if it's already charged, you'll definitely live 2 just straight up. So last Pokemon he has is Frostlass. Interesting Pokemon. Is going to have really interesting typing of Ice and Ghost, and has that Shadow Ball for the late game. Just shields down. Shadow Ball is going to be doing so much damage. We end up taking that game, and in this next game we're going to start Dragonair with Victory Bell and Lapras in the back. So I actually really like Victory Bell up front, and then Dragonair and Lapras in the back from this team. But we decided to change it up a little here, go with a little bit of a safer start. And the one really good thing about Frostlass is that you can get to these avalanches so fast, and if one of these lands on Victory Bell, it's going to take it out. So we got forced into a really bad situation here where the Frostlass ended up getting 2 avalanches off here. So it took both of our shields. We're going to throw the Acid Spray onto this Meganium. But he doesn't actually end up blocking, which means if we had gone for that Sludge Bomb, we would have been in such a better position. But we couldn't have known that. So if they have 2 shields, I think Acid Spray is the way to go. You can't know that they're not going to shield. Plus, we ended up doing so much damage to this Meganium anyways because of that Acid Spray that it was pretty good for us. And then we come in here with our Dragonair against this Politoed, which is a really good matchup for Dragonair because it's going to be well, no, I guess Politoed doesn't really have any water moves except Surf, but he's definitely going to be going for the Earthquake here, which is going to one-shot the Dragonair. So we come in here with Lapras, and we're just going to be doing Surfs, but with the fact that he had that shield is probably going to do us in. Actually, it looks like we probably are going to survive. Yeah, we're definitely going to make it to another Surf, I believe. I think he'll make it to a Surf, but we should survive. Although now that I'm looking at it, our Surf probably doesn't take him out either, which means he's got faster energy generation with Mud Shots, so he's definitely going to get to a second Surf and probably take us out. Oh, it was so close. Yeah. Tough. So anything with Mud Shot's obviously going to have really good game if they have decent charge moves, because you're just going to be spamming those charge moves out. Plus, if you have one spam move, so Surf, and then one like super nuke like Earthquake, that's really the best combo for a Mud Shot user that you're definitely going to want to have. So he starts Frostlass into our Muck, and we throw out these Thunderbolts. I thought about it a little bit afterwards. I probably should be throwing out the it's not foul play. Oh my gosh, Dark Pulse. The Dark Pulse is going to be super effective against the ghost typing of Frostlass and would definitely do a ton of damage. Instead, we end up throwing out these 2 Thunderbolts, and the Frostlass survives. And I have to make a decision if I want to be able to auto the charges fast attack down this Frostlass, or just, you know, take the loss, bring in maybe Lapras and farm a lot, and I guess not a lot, but a little bit. And he brings in his Lapras, and what I'm doing here is I decide I want to just go for the Skull Bash, and then I'll shield the Skull Bash that's coming back in return, and then swap out into Victory Bell to do some damage. So we actually end up not shielding because I think that he's going to go for the bait since that we went straight for it. And yeah, he obviously doesn't. So Victory Bell is actually going to be good against both of these Pokemon. The problem is we have to shield something, right? And luckily we shield the Earthquake. And we actually have a ton of health here. I would definitely go for the Acid Spray. He's probably not going to block it. Oh, he does block it. And yeah, we're just going to shred down this Lapras now. Looks like we were 1 attack away from taking the Lapras out. The Surf's going to take us out, but our Lapras has much higher health than his, and we're able to get to the Surf before he can get to another Surf. So we take game 3 here, 2-1. This is going to be 5 games. And we decide to go with Muck, Victory Bell, and Lapras. We're really just trying to find ways to beat this Frostlass and this Politoed, because he seems to be coming in with both of them every time. Which means that Victory Bell should have a ton of good matchups. But this time he did bring the Dragonair, so he really faked us out. Although we haven't shown anything but Acid Spray in all 3 games, so we decided to go for the Sludge Wave here, which ends up taking out the Dragonair even though he had shields up. So that's one good thing about having the Acid Spray and only showing Acid Spray. They may never block because they don't want to be fooled. But we do have Sludge Wave, well, currently on Victory Bell. I don't know if I'll stay with it. I really kind of do like it. Razor Leaf does enough on its own, but there are so many waters in this cup that you may need to do a little more if you have Victory Bell as your only grass user. And we throw out this Skull Bash onto the Beedrill, and we probably should have gone for 2 Surfs, taken both of those shields out, I think. And what I'm doing here is I just want to come in with the Mug matchup, farm down as much as I can, and then throw out as many Thunder Punches against this Lapras as I can as well. One problem is Lapras is at full health, I believe. Oh no, he's decently low. And we do get the shield, and we do get this Thunder Punch off. But I think that the Lapras we have in the back is super low. Is it? Okay, so we had a Surf ready. Oh my gosh. Definitely, I don't know, we probably should have shielded that. I don't know how much, maybe in the moment I knew exactly how much health the Lapras had there. Oh, I have the Game Swan wrong. That's 3-1 in our favor. And then this will be the last game, and we bring in the same team because I think it, I actually really like this team. Muck, Victory Bell, and Lapras. I think it gives you a lot of diversity against a lot of their team. The one problem I think is that Victory Bell is definitely going to require a shield, and then Lapras sometimes requires a shield depending on matchups. And the same is true for Muck. So you'd have to treat Lapras as a pure safe swap and probably never shield it. Obviously this depends on what's happening in the match, but anyways, so he swaps into Beedrill, and we end up staying in the Muck versus Beedrill matchup. Probably should have swapped to Lapras, and we end up using both our shields, so this match has just gone really horrific. And we do take out the Beedrill, and we wait to see what comes in so that we can throw a super effective move against Politoed, or if it's apparently Frostlass, we want to throw out that Dark Pulse. But we are not able to get to a second one, and we're going to get taken out for sure, probably by an avalanche. Yep. So we do have Victory Bell, but Victory Bell is going to be needed in both of these matchups, so I think I'm going to bring in Lapras, yeah. And just try to do as much chip damage as possible against this Frostlass, but we're going to have to be worried about these Shadow Balls because they are doing about 55%. And what I did there was, as soon as I took the energy from Frostlass, I decided to swap out. That is probably not what I should have done. Thinking about it as I'm commentating now, I should have stayed in with the Lapras, thrown out the double Surfs, used up all the shields from Frostlass, or get to the Politoed matchup, and then use Victory Bell. But Politoed probably still gets to that Earthquake, so I'm not sure there's a winning scenario here because we had used our shields so freely earlier. That really left us in a bind there. So yeah, this is the team that the Girls That PvP created, and it's Swampert, Dragonair, Lapras, Victory Belt, Dustox, and Muck. And it was a pretty fantastic team, won a lot, but I think that a lot of the pitfalls on this team are going to be against Ice Pokemon in general. If you saw against that Frostlass, we really struggled to find a team comp that could deal with Frostlass in any group of 3, while also dealing with the other 2 Pokemon as well. And I also think that it has a little bit of trouble against Meganium, if I were to say. I think we only ran into the one Meganium, but it is really good against the team. And thanks to all the ladies that helped me out. Thanks to Shagness, Lady in Red, Lilu, OK Haha, Reza, and Kochinamon. Yeah, these picks were awesome, and hope to collaborate again. I'm going to leave a link to their social media in the description below, as well as a link to Brightside, the first person I played against. He has a YouTube channel. I'm going to link that in the description below as well. So thanks again for watching. If you liked this, go ahead and subscribe, and yeah, have a good one.